Okay. Second down, we're going to do something similar to what we did 2 weeks ago. So COVID-19 updates. I just want to go through each league and kind of talk about the updates for each of the leagues. I'll start with the NBA. So the NBA season is set to resume on July 31st at Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida. We discussed this 2 weeks ago on our last podcast for Down and Distance series. So this shouldn't be anything new, but they were able to come out with more information on what the season will look like now that it is resumed. So there will be 22 teams back, 13 from the West and 9 from the East. There will be 8 regular season games, so almost similar to pool play in tournaments, which will determine the seeding of the playoffs for these teams that make the playoffs. And then also there will be a potential play-in tournament for the 8 seed in each conference. So according to Christopher Powers of Yahoo Sports, for this to occur, and when he's saying for that to occur, he's talking about the potential play-in for the tournament for the 8 seed. So for that to occur, the 9 seed must be within 4 games of the 8 seed at the end of the regular season. For the 9 seed to advance, it would need to beat the 8 seed twice in a row. For the 8 seed to advance, it would only need to win once in the play-in scenario. So, it almost feels like a March Madness thing where you get to play into the tournament, but this one is, if you're kind of lower, if you're the 9 seed and trying to get into the 8 seed, you have to beat them twice. If you're the 8 seed, just win once and you're good. This one, I'm interested to see it. I would be lying to say if I didn't. So July 31st is the tentative date set for the NBA season resume, which is good news for sports in general. I think we're all excited to have sports back, at least, the hope that sports will be back. I think we're all glad to see that. And, I'm happy to see this. So one more thing to talk about is that, and this is interesting as well. So the NBA since the NBA has suspended their season, they also ended up suspending the test for recreational drugs. But in the report, and the rumor is that once the NBA season resumes, that the suspension of testing for recreational drugs it won't resume. It will continue to be suspended for the rest of the season. So that is interesting. Maybe this is a means test by the NBA to see if there's an effect in play, effect in disciplinary action. I don't know. I don't know what the NBA is thinking with this one. I think, if anything, you could see it as a positive, as the NBA is trying to means test, and maybe the players could use this, in collective bargaining agreements moving forward. That, hey, you suspended recreational drug testing during this period of time during COVID-19. Now that the CBA is, time to renew, we don't want to have any drug testing for recreational drugs, because during this time there was no issues with play, with discipline, or anything like that. There was no increase in bad behavior or anything like that. So maybe this is we might be seeing the beginning of something here in the NBA, and maybe in others in sports in general. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Again, very interesting. I would like to see I would like to see how it plays out, but I just thought it was interesting that they ended up just keeping it suspended for the test of recreational drugs. I think at the end of the day, everybody's been sitting home. NBA players, there's some that do, recreational drugs, which I guess it's their body, so they have that choice to do that. And the NBA is kind of like, okay, well, whatever. We're not going to try to suspend our star players or any players. We're just trying to get this season, this short resume season finished with, and try to get ready for the follow-up season. So interested to see how that plays out. So Premier League will be back June 17th. So Premier League soccer overseas. So Premier League was suspended on March 13th, and there was a statement put out by Richard Masters, who's the Premier League chief executive. So I'll go ahead and read that. So today we have provisionally agreed to resume the Premier League on Wednesday, June 17th, but this date cannot be confirmed until we have met all safety requirements, as the health and the health and the welfare of all participants and supporters is our priority. Sadly, matches will have to take place without fans in stadiums, so we are pleased to have come up with a positive solution for supporters to be able to watch all the remaining 92 matches. So, again, this is big for sports. Premier League appears to be one of the first major sports leagues that are going to resume, at least tentatively. Again, they're stating that this date can't be confirmed, but it is the date that the most recent date that they have. So we are curious to see how that plays out. Again, this is next week. So yeah, this is next week, and man, next Wednesday the Premier League might be back, and curious to see how that turns out as well, as far as, you know, infections, player testing, travel, no fans, and, you know, fans watching on TV. Is it going to have a major effect on that league? Obviously, it will have a major effect as far as like monetary gain for tickets for the stadium, but is it going to affect like how the game is watched? Because UFC is only two people fighting in the cage, and to be honest, nobody in the arena when they're watching UFC, it doesn't really make a big difference for me when I'm watching that. So we'll see how different it is for soccer. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I think for sports or entertainment leagues, for example, like the World Wrestling Entertainment, you know, the wrestling business, they pride themselves. A lot of their excitement comes from fan engagement. So they like to play a certain role to get the fans to cheer or the fans to boo. There's a lot of interaction between the actual entertainers and performers for wrestling and the fans. So that one is a little bit weird. But when it comes to like playing football or soccer or anything like that, there's a fan aspect as far as like home field advantage, but actually playing the game, I don't think there's really a big difference as far as playing the game. So interested to see how the Premier League, and see if they actually stick to June 17th. Again, that's next Wednesday. So NFL. So the NFL sent out a memo for COVID-19 prep. And according to Justin Rogers from the Detroit News, I'll go ahead and quote him here. So before I quote him, so the NFL sent a memo to the NFL team stating the rules for, you know, getting back to operations under this COVID-19, you know, environment situation. So basically, according to Justin Rogers of the Detroit News, the NFL stated, so to help maintain 6 feet between individuals, teams are being asked to use distance markers within the buildings, remove furniture from meeting rooms and common areas, and reconfigure locker rooms using every other locker where possible. Additionally, strength and conditioning sessions and small group meetings will be limited to 15 individuals, while the training staff will require staggered appointments. So, I mean, it's definitely a sacrifice for the teams and the players and everyone, but I think, again, this is their job, so they'll be able to work out a schedule to where everyone's able to meet with the coaches, to work out with the trainers. This is not a big ask for the NFL, and again, they're just trying to get ready, get prepared, make sure that they have procedures in place to at least decrease the chances of the virus spreading within the NFL and, you know, amongst players. So credit to the NFL for being proactive, I guess, in this case. And we'll see, again, we're far away from the NFL starting the season. Well, preseason, I doubt the preseason is going to happen, but regular season, we're looking end of August, early September. I can't remember how the schedule was set up, but that's around the time where the NFL season starts. And then also MLB, I didn't talk about this on the last podcast, but MLB, so the MLB Players Association did propose 89 game season ranging from July 10th to October 11th. And this is a 25 game. So the proposal is actually 25 games fewer than the union's proposal of 114. And the problem right now with the MLB and the MLBPA is the pay, the compensation, how players are going to be compensated for a shorter league, prorating players' pay, but at the same time, we're talking about guaranteed contracts. So it's very dicey when it comes to those things. But as we know, the MLB will be losing money because there won't be any fans in the stadiums. And a lot of their revenue comes from fans being in the stadiums, having that many games and having that many fans attending games on that regular basis. That's a lot of money that the MLB is going to be losing, or that they won't have that they anticipated having when these players sign their contracts. Now, is that the players' fault? I don't think it's the players' fault that this pandemic occurred, and they did sign a contract stating that they were to get paid X amount for playing a season. I don't know the specific wording on how many games they need to play to be considered a season, but from my understanding, these are. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for more fire sports takes. And for those of you who are on the go, make sure you subscribe to our full show, which airs every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and a bunch more. Until then, I'm chucking it up, and I'll see you guys next time.